First, I'd like to express my regret that the subcommittee has not yet been able to fit the Central Valley into its busy schedule so that it can hear firsthand of the economic damage and human misery that's been caused by the federal government's decision to shut off 200 billion gallons of water to Central Valley farms in order to indulge the environmental pet project, the Delta Smelt. In the absence of the committee's cooperation, the minority Republicans just held such a hearing under our own auspices this morning in Fresno. I can tell you that Secretary Salazar's statement to the committee last year, in which he admitted the government had the discretion to turn the pumps back on, but would not do so because, quote, that would be like admitting failure, unquote, did not sit well with the people there. And the administration's absence was also noted. This disastrous folly has destroyed 500,000 acres of the most fertile farmland in America and destroyed the livelihoods that supported 30,000 struggling families. The prices on grocery shelves here in Southern California are directly affected by the loss of 500,000 acres of valley agriculture due to this decision. And on behalf of the people of the Central Valley, from whom I have just heard this morning, I again renew the minority's urgent plea that this committee come to the Central Valley to see firsthand the suffering that this policy has caused. Today's hearing is about challenges and opportunities on California's water supply. I found the questions raised in the witness invitations indicative of a concern that this Congress has lost perspective on creating abundant water supplies. Today, this Congress and this administration seem to have adopted the position that government's principal objective should not be to create abundance, but rather to ration shortages. The majority's questions to witnesses fail to mention the need for more water storage or the costs and benefits of all water supply infrastructure options. I must again remind the subcommittee of the obvious reality that managing a water shortage is not the same as solving a water shortage.
That's why.
Having read some of the testimony presented to the committee today, I believe that we need to measure all water proposals against the simple and obvious alternative of renewing our commitment to the construction of new dams and reservoirs. One of the last of the great dams was the Oroville Dam, which cost roughly $600 million to construct in 1968. Through the inflation adjustment, that's about $3.5 billion in today's money. That dam produces 3.5 million acre-feet of water. In other words, the modern-day inflation-adjusted cost of the Oroville Dam, including its massive power plant, comes to about $1,000 per acre-foot. And yet this committee has ignored new dam construction in favor of such things as water recycling projects that cost upwards of $18,000 per acre-foot. That is insane. In my district sits the site of the Auburn Dam, which began construction some 40 years ago. The most complex part of that dam, the giant footings cut into the surrounding bedrock, were completed in the early 1970s. But then the objections of the environmental left brought the project to a halt. That dam today could be providing 2.3 million additional acre-feet of water storage, 800 megawatts of the cheapest and cleanest electricity available, and 400-year flood protection for the Sacramento Delta, and all that is lacking is the political will to proceed. I fear that this Congress has forgotten the policies of the Pat Brown generation of builders, the visionaries who created the Central Valley and state water projects. Instead, we now write off any ideas of new storage and ignore the plight of our nation's breadbasket in the San Joaquin Valley. So while valley communities, again, the breadbasket of the nation, run food lines with food imported from China, we seem content to accept rationing as the way to resolve our water crisis. I believe we can do a lot better than that. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I'm sorry, but please refrain from any emotion of any kind. No, I'm serious. We will ask you to be escorted. Simply, we need to get ahead. We need to move forward. And yes, we agree with a lot of things. So please, please. bear with us.